Ever imagine, like, your medicine working like a well-timed stage cue? Activated only when it needs to.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the incredible promise of force-triggered drug delivery.
It's amazing.
We're diving into the science that's turning, like, everyday movements into powerful medical tools.
And what's so fascinating is we're not just talking about, taking a pill anymore. This research really dives into how we can use like different types of forces within the body to actually activate and release these medications, and with remarkable precision, which is incredible.
And we've got the research to prove it.
Yes.
Our deep dive today is built on a scientific review article that's basically a treasure trove of breakthroughs in this field. So no need for a PhD. We'll break it down.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Imagine a pill that's designed to treat a specific blockage in an artery, right? Now, instead of just flooding your system with this medication and hoping it hits the right spot, the pill is designed to, only release its payload when it senses that specific force of blood flow at the blockage site itself.
Okay, that's already blowing my mind a little bit. It's like microscopic targeting.
Yeah.
But let's rewind a bit. The research talks about 3 main types of mechanical force, right?
Absolutely. So we've got compression, tension, and shear, and each one offers a unique way to trigger this drug release. Let's start with compression. Think about squeezing a ketchup packet, right?
Okay.
You apply pressure, and out it comes. Now imagine a pill, but it's coated with these special polymers that respond to the squeezing force of your digestive system.
So, as the pill travels through, say, your stomach or intestines, it could actually activate the release of the medicine at just the right point.
Precisely.
Wow.
And it gets even more intriguing. Remember, we talked about tension, that stretching force.
Right.
Researchers are developing skin patches for this. So imagine a tiny reservoir of medicine, and it's embedded in a patch on your skin. And this reservoir, it's sealed, but with a membrane that will only stretch open when it senses a very specific amount of force.
Okay.
Like, say, from a simple arm movement.
Oh, wow.
Or even potentially your heartbeat. So you could be going about your day, and your body's natural movements would be triggering the release of, say, insulin precisely when needed. That's incredible. No more needles.
You've got it. It's like turning your body's own mechanics into this drug delivery system.
That's wild. Yeah, and this is just the beginning. We haven't even touched on the amazing potential of shear force yet.
Oh, right.
Which is how fluids, like blood, can trigger a release.
Okay, we've got pills responding to your gut and patches activated by, movement. Yeah. But you mentioned shear force. What's so special about that?
So shear force, that's all about how fluids move, right? And how they interact with surfaces.
Okay.
Think about how blood flows through your vessels. That's shear force.
Right.
That's shear force in action. And researchers have found these really ingenious ways to use that very force, that fluid force, to trigger drug release.
So we're talking about, medicine that's activated by the very flow of blood itself. That's, next level stuff.
It is. And it's particularly exciting for targeting treatments that have to do with blood vessels and circulation. Remember we talked about how platelets in our blood, they naturally clot to stop bleeding?
Yeah, yes.
Researchers have actually taken inspiration from that.
Wow.
To design drug carriers that work in a similar way.
Hold on. Are you saying they're making, artificial platelets that can deliver medicine?
In a way, yeah. These carriers, they're designed to be, sensitive to the specific shear forces that happen when there's damage to a blood vessel.
Oh, wow.
So they're tiny sensors that can actually detect a problem.
Oh, wow.
And then release their medication payload right there.
Directly at the site.
Directly at the site of injury, exactly.
Wow. So instead of just hoping a drug, reaches the right spot, we're talking about medicine that's practically guided by the body's own signals. That's incredible.
Exactly. But what's even more mind-boggling is that researchers are exploring forces beyond the ones that our bodies naturally produce.
Okay.
Like ultrasound.
Ultrasound, like what they use to check on babies. How can that be used to deliver medicine?
It's a great question. So while we typically, associate ultrasound with imaging, it turns out that those sound waves, they can also be harnessed to interact with matter in really precise ways, including triggering drug release.
Okay, now I'm really curious. How does that even work?
Okay. So imagine this. You have these specially designed drug carriers, almost like tiny capsules.
Okay.
And they're injected into the bloodstream.
Okay.
These capsules hold the medicine, and they're coated with materials that respond to very specific frequencies of ultrasound.
So, a doctor could target a very precise area, like, say, a tumor deep inside the body,
Yeah.
and use ultrasound waves to activate the release of, like, chemotherapy drugs directly at that spot.
That's the idea. And because ultrasound can be focused with a high degree of accuracy,
Yeah.
it offers a level of control that we just haven't seen with more traditional methods.
That's incredible. It's like microscopic surgery without the surgery.
It really is groundbreaking, and it gets even more futuristic.
Okay.
Researchers are developing what they call micromotors,
What?
tiny vehicles that can actually propel themselves through the body
No.
using ultrasound.
Wait, are you serious? Tiny robots delivering medicine inside the body. This is straight out of science fiction.
It sounds like science fiction, but I assure you it's very real. These micromotors are still, in the early stages of development.
Right.
But the possibilities, they're like mind-blowing.
So these micromotors, how do they actually work? What are they made of? And, like, how do they know where to go?
So they're typically made of biocompatible materials, meaning they won't, harm the body.
Okay.
And they can be designed in all sorts of shapes and sizes,
Right.
depending on their purpose. But the way they move is incredibly clever.
Okay.
They can be designed to actually convert those ultrasound waves into mechanical energy.
Wow.
So it propels them forward.
So the ultrasound acts like a remote control, guiding these tiny robots to their target.
Exactly. Researchers can use these focused ultrasound beams to, direct the micromotors through the body, steering them towards a specific location.
Oh.
Like a tumor or an infection that needs that targeted treatment.
This is incredible. But I have to ask, what are, like, the challenges? Are we going to be seeing these microbots zipping around inside of us anytime soon?
Well, while the potential is enormous,
Yeah.
there are still some hurdles to overcome. One of the biggest ones is biocompatibility,
Okay.
right? We need to make absolutely sure that these micromotors are safe for long-term use inside the body.
Right.
And that they don't trigger any, adverse reactions from the immune system or anything like that.
That makes sense. We don't want our bodies trying to fight off these helpful little robots.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the question of precise control. We need to be able to direct these micromotors with, pinpoint accuracy,
Right.
ensuring that they reach the intended target,
Right.
deliver the right dosage of medication. All of that is still being worked out.
It sounds like there's a lot of fine-tuning still to be done, but the possibilities, even just imagining them, are pretty remarkable.
They are. Imagine sending a swarm of these tiny robots to deliver a precise dose of antibiotics to a hard-to-reach infection, or guiding them to repair damaged tissue from the inside out. The applications are vast,
Wow.
and it's a field that's rapidly evolving.
So we've covered compression, tension, shear, and even sound waves as potential triggers for releasing medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else? What about magnets? I mean, they seem to be everywhere these days, controlling everything from our phones to our refrigerators. Could they play a role in this too? Magnets, you say? Now, that's an interesting thought. Could we really use magnets to, guide medicine inside the body?
It's not as far-fetched as it sounds.
Clever.
Yeah. While not a mechanical force in the same way as compression or tension, magnetic fields,
Right.
they can absolutely be used to control and direct drug delivery systems. And we're talking incredible precision here.
Okay, now I'm really picturing, tiny robots zipping around my body guided by magnets. Tell me more.
Okay, so think of it like this. Instead of ultrasound, we could use these carefully controlled magnetic fields, right, generated outside the body,
Yeah.
to steer those micromotors that we talked about.
Oh.
It's like having these invisible hands guiding these tiny vehicles to their destination.
So we could potentially deliver, chemotherapy directly to a tumor
Exactly.
and, avoid damage to healthy tissue.
Yeah.
Or even treat conditions in the brain, which is, notoriously difficult to reach with traditional drugs.
Exactly. The blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
Which, that protects the brain from harmful substances. That's a major obstacle
Right.
in treating a lot of neurological conditions.
Right.
But magnetically guided drug delivery systems, they offer a way to potentially bypass that barrier
Wow.
and deliver medications directly where they're needed.
This is all so incredibly promising, but it does make you wonder, what are the, limitations? Are there any downsides to this kind of targeted drug delivery?
Right, right. It's crucial to remember that while the potential is huge, this technology is still,
Yeah.
it's in the development phase.
Right.
One of the biggest challenges is making sure these systems are incredibly reliable.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine a system that accidentally releases a month's worth of medication all at once.
Yikes. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
So dosage control is a major factor.
Yeah.
What about the materials used to create these systems? Are there concerns about, like, them being in the body long term?
Absolutely. Biocompatibility is key. We need to be certain that these materials, whether they're polymers responding to pressure or, tiny robots navigating our blood vessels,
Right.
that they're safe for long-term use and won't cause any harm or any unintended reactions.
It sounds like there's a lot of research and testing still to be done, but the possibilities are so exciting. It's almost like we're on the verge of a whole new era of medicine.
It really is a paradigm shift. We're moving away from the one-size-fits-all approach of traditional medicine.
Right.
And towards a future of personalized, targeted treatments delivered precisely where and when they're needed.
So instead of just passively swallowing a pill, we're entering an age where our body's own mechanics and even external forces like, ultrasound and magnets can be harnessed to fight disease and improve health.
Precisely. And as this field continues to evolve, it's an exciting journey of discovery with the potential to transform the way we think about healthcare.
Well said. For our listeners who are now fascinated by the idea of medicine powered by everything from a heartbeat to a tiny magnet, what's the one big takeaway you want them to remember about force-triggered drug delivery?
I think the most important thing to remember is that this isn't just about cool science, right? This is about improving lives. This technology has the potential to make treatments more effective, to minimize those nasty side effects.
Right.
And ultimately give people better, healthier futures.
It's medicine with a personal touch, designed to work in harmony with the incredible forces already at play within our own bodies.
Exactly. And it's a powerful reminder that science is constantly pushing those boundaries, leading to discoveries that can benefit, all humankind.
Absolutely. This deep dive has definitely opened my eyes to the incredible possibilities of this field. A huge thank you to you for sharing your expertise with us today.
It was my pleasure. It's always exciting to talk about the frontiers of science and the potential they hold for the future.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of force-triggered drug delivery. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop asking, what if?